Will this become worse or not? It looked like allergies. Yes.
And then it started coming.
This is an interaction between traditional Chinese medicine practitioner Hu Zijing and one of his patients in South Africa. Every month, he visits local communities in Johannesburg, the country's largest city, to provide free medical consultations. During these sessions, Hu Zijing diagnoses patients by asking questions and checking their pulse, then offers them medical advice.
Many local people ask me, how should I eat? What should I eat less of in my daily diet? From these kinds of questions, we can see the local community's recognition and interest in traditional Chinese medicine.
At the same time, during every free consultation session, he brings his students along with him, allowing them to observe and learn on site as part of their training.
We hope that through a free medical service, we can provide young graduates and budding practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine with opportunities for practical experience, while also boosting their confidence.
In fact, the 38-year-old Hu Zijing is not only a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine, widely known as TCM. He also serves as a doctoral supervisor for the acupuncture program at the University of Johannesburg, a leading higher learning institute in South Africa. In a pioneering move, he has drafted the regulations for the dispensing and distribution of traditional Chinese medicine in South Africa, which has made possible the legal registration of TCM pharmacists in the country. Hu Zijing was born and grew up in Fujian Province, southeast China. In 2012, he earned his master's degree from the Fujian University of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Upon graduation, he was advised by his mentor to go to South Africa. But why? That's because just 1 year before his graduation, TCM was incorporated into South Africa's healthcare system. This meant that the TCM treatment costs of the patients could be covered by medical insurance, thus making TCM an option for many people. For the freshly graduated Hu Zijing, this situation offered him a good opportunity to practice TCM in South Africa. Upon arriving in the country, Hu Zijing first obtained a license for practicing TCM there. Shortly after, he opened his own local clinic in the country's economic hub, Johannesburg. Initially, the public in the city had little understanding of TCM. Very few people came to seek treatment from the young man. Only in his 20s at the time, Hu Zijing struggled to gain the trust of patients.
I tried many approaches initially, such as providing a free medical service. Through such a service, I was able to build a reputation. Once, an elderly lady in her 80s came for a consultation. I gave her some dietary and lifestyle advice, and after listening, she stood up and bowed deeply to me. I was greatly moved. You know, I was only around 24 or 25 years old at the time. An 84 or 85-year-old lady bowed to me. I quickly stood up and bowed back to her.
Through word of mouth, recommendations from patients, Hu Zijing gradually built his reputation. A few months after opening, his TCM clinic began to see significant improvements. But making a living by running a clinic was not his ultimate dream.
My goal was to balance clinical practice with teaching, as I believe the two complement and reinforce each other. After arriving in South Africa, I opened a TCM clinic while also reaching out to local universities. At the time, I looked into which South African universities offered TCM programs, and I found out that the only one was the University of the Western Cape. Once my clinic became well on track, I contacted the university and eventually joined them. Looking back now, my decision to teach there was purely driven by passion. I genuinely love teaching.
The University of the Western Cape, located in Cape Town, is about 1,400 kilometers away from Johannesburg. The university offers a 5-year undergraduate program in TCM, and Hu Zijing was invited to teach the undergraduates there. Thus, in his first year in South Africa, he began living a dual-city life. While running his clinic helped him sustain his livelihood and accumulate clinical experience, his teaching work allowed him to pursue his ideals while also supplementing his income.
The University of the Western Cape paid me 6,000 rand at the time, but 25% was deducted for tax. I only took home 4,500 rand. My rent alone cost me 3,000, and then there were expenses like fuel and daily necessities. It was truly insufficient. So every month, I would fly back to Johannesburg for 1 week to see patients, then return to the university to teach for 3 weeks, and then fly back again.
As Hu Zijing's reputation grew, more patients began visiting his clinic. But this increasingly became a burden to him, as he had to balance his teaching responsibilities at the University of the Western Cape. For him, maintaining a dual-city career was not sustainable in the long run. After teaching at the University of the Western Cape for a year, a tip from a friend led him to decide to resign from the university. It turned out that in 2015, the University of Johannesburg was planning to launch programs related to health sciences. Hu Zijing saw this as an opportunity to start teaching TCM in Johannesburg.
I wrote letters to over 10 higher education institutions in South Africa. At the time, I looked into which universities offered health science and medical-related programs. I don't know where I found the courage, but I wrote directly to the deans of various medical schools, asking if they could introduce a TCM program into their curricula.
Being young and daring, Hu Zijing was really venturing alone in a foreign country. Fortunately, his bold attempt paid off. At the time, 14 universities received his letters. Most did not respond. In the end, the University of Johannesburg extended an invitation to him.
The dean of the university's Department of Complementary Medicine was very interested and immediately called me in to have a meeting.
The University of Johannesburg is a top-tier comprehensive university in South Africa. Its Department of Complementary Medicine offers many healthcare disciplines not native to the country, but it lacked any programs related to TCM at the time. Radmila Razlog, the former head of the department, recalled that the university was, at the time, considering incorporating TCM into its curriculum.
Already in 2015, the department was looking at recurriculating the program, and for many years before that, we really had this interest to expand complementary medicine and grow complementary medicine within South Africa. So our idea initially was to include Chinese medicine, possibly acupuncture, and look at other modalities that are registered with the allied health professions.
Teaching at a prestigious university was a dream coming true for Hu Zijing. He began drafting a proposal and submitted an application to establish a TCM program at the University of Johannesburg. But after waiting for a year, his application was rejected by the university.
The World Health Organization defines traditional medicine as medical practices with a long history, proven clinical effectiveness, and indigenous origins. Thus, TCM is considered a traditional medicine in China. But Africa also has its own traditional medicine, namely the African traditional healers. When we applied for the TCM program, the reviewing experts had this misunderstanding. They believed that since TCM is a traditional medicine, it was unscientific.
After his application to establish a TCM program was rejected, Hu Zijing faced a dilemma. Either give up on his dream and remain an ordinary TCM practitioner in Johannesburg, or continue appealing to the University of Johannesburg to approve the program.
I felt that I should take the initiative to do this, rather than wait and hope for others to accomplish it.
While practicing at his clinic, Hu Zijing noticed that acupuncture, a component of TCM, was more readily accepted by his patients. So, 4 months after his initial application was rejected, he submitted a new proposal, this time for establishing an acupuncture program.
When we submitted the acupuncture proposal, they were initially hesitant. I explained that although acupuncture might be relatively new in South Africa, and certainly new at the University of Johannesburg, it has been taught in China for thousands of years, and it has been part of China's higher education system for about 7 decades. I emphasized that this is a well-established practice, and many developed countries have also incorporated it. We used extensive communication, data, and scientific research findings to persuade them.
This time, the University of Johannesburg did not keep him waiting long. A result came just 1 week after the application was submitted.
The majority of the reviewing experts approved it, voting in favor of establishing this program. I was incredibly excited. First, it meant that people within the academic community recognized TCM. Second, I felt thrilled because I believed I now had a good platform to promote TCM in South Africa, enabling this knowledge to be passed on to future generations.
While excited, Hu Zijing also felt tremendous pressure. How would he address challenges such as student recruitment, teaching, and graduate employment? During that period, he often suffered from insomnia, preoccupied with the development of the acupuncture program. After more than 2 years of preparation, in February 2020, the Department of Complementary Medicine at the University of Johannesburg officially launched a 4-year undergraduate program and a 2-year master's program in acupuncture. Thus, the university became the first higher learning institute in South Africa to offer degree programs in acupuncture. Graduates are eligible to register directly as acupuncturists in South Africa and attend to patients. As a result, over 1,000 students applied in the first year, with just 45 ultimately admitted. As a lecturer in the acupuncture program, Hu Zijing and his courses have been well received by many South African students. For students with little prior exposure to TCM, grasping its profound theories posed the greatest challenge. To address this, Hu Zijing adopted various methods, such as practicing Ba Duan Jin, a traditional Chinese exercise system, as a gentle introduction to TCM principles.
We have a break from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. every Friday. Some students approached me and said, "Mr. Hu, could you lead us in practicing Ba Duan Jin during this 1.5 hour period? We'd like to practice it every week." They said that after doing Ba Duan Jin, they felt much more comfortable physically, and it helped them concentrate their attentions during the afternoon clinical sessions.
And when I got there, I
Rebaone Monama was a member of the first cohort of the acupuncture program at the University of Johannesburg. When he first enrolled, he had little understanding of TCM and joined largely out of curiosity, which made his studies particularly challenging. After persisting for a year, he began to question his initial choice. Monama participated in several free clinic sessions organized by the university and led by Zijing. Witnessing how acupuncture could help individuals suffering from years of chronic illness find relief, Monama found the work deeply fulfilling. This experience strengthened his resolve to continue his studies.
I studied, I passed my first year, went to my second year, and when I got there, I thought of quitting because I didn't know the future of acupuncture. And then I went to Dr. again, explained my situation. He told me about the future of acupuncture, that it has a nicest future because it gives you job satisfaction.
In 2023, Monama completed the required undergraduate courses and graduated successfully. After that, he became a postgraduate student in the acupuncture program of the same university and also obtained his license as a certified acupuncturist in South Africa.
I started seeing different patients at different conditions, for instance, like period pains. It's fascinating how a lot of people in South Africa think that period pains are normal. So explaining to them that pain is not normal and then acupuncture can help with that, people were fascinated by that.
Many students, like Monama, initially had limited understanding of acupuncture and lacked strong motivation to learn. However, after witnessing Zijing treat an asthma patient at his clinic, a significant number of students developed a strong interest in acupuncture.
Once there was a patient suffering from an acute asthma attack, experiencing chest tightness and breathing difficulties. Our clinic had no oxygen or emergency equipment, making the situation particularly critical. I immediately asked the students to fetch the acupuncture needles. I targeted an acupoint on the patient's hands. I needled one side and a student needled the other. We then manipulated the needles with strong stimulation. Within seconds, the patient's condition eased. All the students were watching, and they found it incredible. Such cases, especially the visual impact, left a deep impression on them. The patient went from an acute attack to recovery in just a matter of seconds.
In 2021, Zijing encountered a special patient, which further broadened his vision for the development of TCM in South Africa. At the time, a patient who had long suffered from chronic conditions and found no relief through various treatments turned to acupuncture as a potential solution. The patient was named Roy Venkatesamy. He recalled that it was Zijing who helped him recognize the importance of TCM.
And at that time, I didn't fully understand the whole concept of traditional Chinese medicine, but for me it was more about the Chinese massage therapy, the cupping, and the acupuncture. And when Zijing told me these, I was so impressed with him.
Upon learning that his patient was a senior lecturer in the Faculty of Education at the University of Pretoria, Zijing engaged in extensive discussions with him about the state of TCM education in South Africa.
The University of Pretoria at the time was not taking students for traditional Chinese medicine because we were a department of early childhood education. We had to look at how traditional Chinese medicine to improve children's health.
Following Venkatesamy's advice, Zijing enrolled in a doctoral program at the University of Pretoria, focusing his research on how the teaching and practice of TCM, especially acupuncture, can be leveraged to improve children's health. In 2022, he completed his PhD within the minimum timeframe of 2 years. During those 2 years, Zijing balanced teaching TCM at the University of Johannesburg, pursuing his doctoral studies, and practicing TCM at his clinic. Busy yet fulfilled, he worked tirelessly, paving new paths for the development of TCM in South Africa. In 2023, the University of Johannesburg introduced a doctoral program in acupuncture, and Hu Zijing became its first doctoral supervisor. In addition to his teaching work at the University of Johannesburg, Hu Zijing has been commissioned by the South African National Health Authorities to draft the regulations for the dispensing and distribution of traditional Chinese medicine in South Africa.
这种专业背景，它有要求，一个是你必须有中医的医疗能力。
Becoming a TCM pharmacist requires specific professional qualifications. First, one must possess TCM medical competence, including clinical experience, as well as a background in both Chinese medicine and herbal pharmacology. Considering these various conditions, there are few people in South Africa with the capability to fulfill this role.
In China, the practice of TCM is supported by a well-developed regulatory system for TCM pharmacists. In South Africa, however, the landscape is markedly different, lacking both a structured framework and sufficient qualified personnel. It was under these challenging conditions that Hu Zijing undertook the task of drafting South Africa's first TCM dispensing regulations. Rather than replicating the Chinese model, which mandates 2 pharmacists, one to prepare and another to verify each prescription, he creatively adapted the procedures to local realities.
我们要求你中药分发的时候，从第1味药发到第10味药。
The regulations I drafted stipulates that when dispensing TCM medicine, the same pharmacist must prepare the prescription from the first ingredient to the 10th, and then review the ingredients in reverse order, from the 10th back to the 1st. This kind of compromise and adjustment was necessary to ensure the accuracy of medicine dispensing. This procedure has now been finalized and established as the standard for the dispensing and distribution of TCM medicine in South Africa.
The adoption of regulations has enabled the legal registration of TCM pharmacists in South Africa, ending the era when such registration was not possible. Hu Zijing's efforts have not only established a functional regulatory framework, but have also earned him recognition from health experts across South Africa's medical community. But the humble but aspiring young man never rests on his past achievements. To better promote TCM and its culture in South Africa, starting in 2024, he has dedicated time each quarter to visiting local schools, introducing TCM to young students at primary and secondary schools. Lenasia Secondary School is a private high school in Johannesburg with a history of about 70 years. Many students at the school frequently experience symptoms such as insomnia and anxiety due to academic pressure. In a visit to the school, Hu Zijing taught the students a set of shoulder and neck health exercises to help them alleviate academic stress during their breaks.
Just a few minutes, let's try to do it now.
After practicing, the students showed great interest in traditional Chinese medicine. One of the students, Vais Patel, says Hu Zijing's TCM lecture would benefit him for a lifetime.
So there's lots of study stress because we're constantly busy. Like before the night before an exam, we spend about 12 hours sitting at the desk going over work. And obviously with our necks bent over the entire time, that exercise you did with us at the end, I could feel the stress relief instantly in my neck. So I think it's something I want to implement more in my daily life with my everyday studying, and I really did learn a lot from the lecture.
For Hu Zijing, such activities hold extraordinary significance.
中医的发展除了人才，我觉得中医的群众基础也很重要。
For the development of TCM, besides cultivating professionals, I believe public support is equally important. Exposing children to TCM from a young age and helping them understand means that they may be more inclined to accept it in their future work and daily lives. They may not necessarily pursue a career in TCM, but at the very least, they will understand and embrace it.
Today, Thanks to the joint efforts of Hu Zijing and other faculty members, the acupuncture program at the University of Johannesburg has trained about 400 students, alleviating the shortage of registered TCM acupuncturists in South Africa.
Taking the University of Johannesburg as an example, this actually aligns with my original intention. That is to make this university a pilot zone for promoting TCM education in South Africa. If successful, can it be extended to other universities in this country? If that succeeds, can it then be expanded to other African countries? This is my dream, and I believe it is entirely possible.
With that, we conclude this edition of Footprints. Thanks for listening. I'm Bob Jones. If you're interested in hearing more about the lives of ordinary but incredible people in China, follow us on your favorite podcast platforms. Just key in Footprints and you can find more stories anytime, anywhere. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.